Okay, part three. Thanks for hanging around. This is two more questions from the horror fan 00. Do you watch The Walking Dead? Is the second question he asked, and yes, I do. Huge fan of that show. I just think it's one of the best shows on television. It's a really great time for horror fans right now. There's so many great horror television shows right now. You got Bates Motel, Walking Dead, Hannibal, American Horror Story, Dexter, True Blood. I mean, there's so many good ones following. But yeah, I love The Walking Dead. I've always been a huge fan of Norman Reedus. Been a fan of his going back to 8mm, and Boondock Saints, and I was just really happy that he is on the show. Daryl's my favorite character. I met Norman Reedus a couple of years, actually not a couple of years ago, last March, or late February, early March. I met him at ImageCon in Oakland. He was an awesome guy. Got his autograph, got a picture with him, talked to him for a good amount of time. Just a really personable dude. Just watched the trailer for season 4 yesterday. Looks fucking amazing. I can't wait till it starts, October 13th. And what's funny is I was never a big fan of zombies. Zombie movies were like my least favorite type of horror film. I did like the Dawn of the Dead remake. Was never a big fan of George Romero's stuff, even though I respect Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead. And Land of the Dead I thought was good too. But just never been a big fan of them. But yeah, I just love Walking Dead. Really excited for the new season. I collect the comics. I get all the toys and memorabilia. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that show. Let's see. And what is your favorite horror movie sequel or franchise? Is his last question. Favorite horror franchise is Friday the 13th, 100%. Followed really closely behind is Psycho. But the Friday the 13th, I just remember enjoying so much when I was a kid. I enjoyed them way before I had seen any of the Psycho films, and just love the character of Jason Voorhees. And Part 6 will always be my favorite film. I think it's the best written script for any of the Friday the 13th films, hands down. Has a real gothic feel. I like that Jason's kind of like a Frankenstein in that movie. Just big fan of that series. Really looking forward to the next one that comes out. I really hope that from my understanding, they're going to start shooting it within the next couple months. So that's, rumors and everything could change, but I know that they're going to start pre-production very soon, and I'm really excited about it. So yeah, big fan of Friday the 13th franchise. Love it. So thanks so much for those questions. Next question, I think I skipped one, is IDIE Indie Grease 1. What horror movie do you think should be remade, and which movie do you think should never be remade? I've heard rumors that they're going to remake Pet Sematary, and I also heard rumors that they're going to remake American Werewolf in London. Neither of those films should be remade. They're perfect. There's no reason to remake those films, in my opinion. But again, I was not crazy about the idea of them remaking Fright Night, and I actually didn't mind Fright Night. If they did it well and it was something interesting, I would check it out, but there's no need to remake those films. Pet Sematary was adapted by Stephen King from his own novel. Why would you want to remake that? That's stupid, and it's already a great movie, and I think it follows the book perfectly. I think that's sort of silly if they're going to remake that. The original still holds up, and I think it's still a very scary film. With American Werewolf in London, I don't understand why you'd want to remake that film either. That movie is scary as shit. I still think it's the best werewolf film ever made. No reason to do it at all, because I think right now, they'd make it too silly. There was a good balance in that film of comedy and horror, and I don't think that directors today know how to do that sometimes. Sometimes I think they either go full overboard on the comedy, and it just comes off as silly, and I don't have faith that they could actually make a good remake of that film, but that's my opinion. If I was going to say remake something as funny in the same werewolf genre, I would say remake American Werewolf in Paris and make it more like John Landis's original idea for a sequel to American Werewolf in London. I read it was in Fangoria magazine probably in late 1997, like right before American Werewolf in Paris came out, or it was in 96, but it was a while back, and I read his idea for what American Werewolf in London 2 could have been, and it was such a great idea. It was so different, though. The studio didn't want to do it. But I think it was dealing with all the surviving characters of that film like 15 years later, and it just was a great idea, and I'm so pissed they never did it. It could have been such a good film, and I think American Werewolf in Paris when it came out didn't bother me. My ex-girlfriend really liked it, and she thought it was better than American Werewolf in London. I thought she was crazy then, but when I watched both films back to back one evening, I said American Werewolf in Paris is so inferior to American Werewolf in London. They could have made that film so much better. And a lot of people don't realize that the Seraphine character is supposed to be Alex and David's character's daughter from the first film. That's what the whole intention was, but you never see that or see any connection to it. So it was just poor filmmaking, poor editing, and the werewolves look like cartoon dogs. I couldn't stand them. Putting them next to Rick Baker's amazing makeup in the original film is just a joke. It's laughable. So yeah, that's what I would remake. So thank you very much for that question. Next question comes from Movie Collector 666. How you doing, brother? He said, if I had to give up all of my horror films and keep 5 movies, which ones would I keep? Friday the 13th Part 6, Halloween 2, Salem's Lot, shoot, that's tough. Halloween, the original Halloween. And what other one would I keep? This is probably going outside the genre a bit, but I'd say A Nightmare Before Christmas. I love that film. I mean, that's why I got Jack on my arm here, but I love Jack Skellington. I love that whole movie, and that's one of my favorite movies of all time. So yeah, those are the 5. So it'd be Friday the 13th, 6, Psycho 2, Salem's Lot, Halloween, the original, and Nightmare Before Christmas. So thanks so much for those for that question. And the last question I have is from my brother Super Brandon 1977. How you doing, man? What is your opinion on remakes and reboots, and do you have a favorite movie of all time? Favorite movie of all time, I keep repeating, and it's Friday the 13th Part 6. My opinion on remakes and reboots, I think if they're done well, I don't have a problem with them at all. I think there are some great remakes out there. Dawn of the Dead is a great remake. The Evil Dead was a great remake. The Friday the 13th, which is my favorite, that was a great remake. But then there's shit remakes. The Fog was a fucked up remake. I hated that. And the fact that John Carpenter was involved in that really pisses me off. Because the original Fog is tremendous. What's another one? Nightmare on Elm Street, not good. I've liked it less and less over the years since I've seen it. I was okay with it when it first came out, but just the more I watch it, the more I just think it's just not good. Jackie Earle Haley's Freddy is very boring when compared to Robert Englund. I respect Jackie Earle Haley, I like him a lot, but that movie's just not very good, and I don't watch it hardly at all. I own it, but don't watch it very much. I think the Chainsaw Massacre remakes are great. A lot of people crap on them now, but I really like the first remake. Came out in 2003, 10 years ago. I can't believe it, but and I like the beginning too. I like the Fright Night remake. I thought that was great. But yeah, I think if they're done great, you can do them really well, like taking the original ideas and story ideas and just making a new movie instead of rehashing. Like, the worst remake of all time is Psycho. I hate that fucking movie so much, and I was so set against remakes after seeing that one because that was like the first really big one, and he tried to make it. Gus Van Sant just made a shot-for-shot remake. Why the fuck do you do that? It's a masterpiece. There's no reason to do it. I still can't stand him to this day because he made that movie. And with the exception of William H. Macy, everybody in that film is horrible. So yeah, that's the worst one. And I think that's everything. Those are all the questions I got. If I happen to I went back through to the video I shot asking people to submit their questions. So in case I missed one, or if you want to ask me a question, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'll do another video and shoot anything you guys want answered. But I thank everybody for submitting these questions to me, and I hope everyone has a great weekend. And thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Take it easy. Peace.